So I'm Richard Chaplin, and I'm the founder and chief executive of both the Managing Partners Forum and the PM Forum. And it's my absolute pleasure to be with you today to talk to you about thought leadership intelligence. So my view is that for the last 25 years, professional services have been flying blind when it comes to thought leadership. They are pushing content out, but they are really not, in my simple view, actually really taking advantage. So what today is all about is about saying we're introducing a new transformative service called Thought Leadership Intelligence, and that's going to allow professional services firms to take intelligent control of their thought leadership activities. Now, if I start thinking about some of the questions that people ask us, the first one comes up quite often is, how can we make measuring ROI from thought leadership activity less difficult and frustrating? I think a few people find it really frustrating. And what we can do is, our solution is we can optimize both the return and the investment. And the return is through actively promoting high quality items, and optimizing investment through enforcing minimum firm-wide scores, so that you're applying both parts of the equation. Another question, can we select the right content items to promote or archive? Given original fresh perspectives, or hopefully not, adverse impressions can be triggered by almost any item on a website. So we've developed an objective scoring system, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later, which makes it easy to pick winners and adjust the underperforming is I'm going to actually go into a live demo, which is very exciting. And I'm going to show you how it all works. So here we go. We are now in the skills development platform. So it has all the playlists, it has the content, the articles, the videos, it has the communities, it has the jobs, the notes, lots of great stuff, and the members will be familiar with that. For the members who have been in recently, they may have noticed, though, that there are a couple of new icons, which I can see. You can't yet, but you will shortly. And one's called Toolkit, which is the one I'm in at the moment, and the one beside it's called Rankings. So that's all up here at the top. You'll see it, I think, if you look carefully. So let's talk about the toolkit. If you recall what this is, now this is where you go in and you see all the articles from your firm. And going back to numbers, we have been looking at 150 firms, and you won't believe this, we have found 1 million items. Open up the chevron, you will see that the score is in 4 parts: depth and accuracy, integrity, readability, engagement, and visual quality. The threshold is there, content category, what's the target audience, what are the keywords, and then below that, and it's Latin because it's obviously dummy, improvement tips. And those improvement tips are very, very helpful. And now is talk about the rankings, because what the system does is it takes all those individual scores, all those hundreds and perhaps even thousands of scores, and mathematically averages them to create rankings. So what I'll do here is I'll just open up one that I created before, which is Magic Circle. And I want to make it very clear here, this is dummy. It's got the word dummy in. These are not the scores for Freshfields, Clifford Chance, Shearmans, and Linklaters. I know some of you are on the call today. Those are not your scores. Please ignore this. But this is purely illustrative so that people can actually see how the system works. So what have you got? Over at the far left, TL rank. In other words, what's the thought leadership rank? And how does that compare with the revenue rank? The last 6 months will then start to go in a good direction. The detailed scoring criteria, and there are 4. Depth and accuracy, structural integrity and readability, engagement and persuasiveness, and visual quality. And each of those has got a subtopic, which I won't go through, but we are her Q&A in a minute. So I've got Illich with me, and he's going to be very happy. If you want to explore that in more detail, he'd be happy to explain how we do that. We also can have the AI summaries, which come from Core Clarity. And here's an example. Illich will be joining me for, is this stuff matters to leadership teams. We conduct, as you probably know, a sector trends tracker each year. And one of the questions that we asked this time around was, to what extent does your firm consider thought leadership to be an important contributor to your firm's growth strategy? I know some of the people who completed that are on the call today. And what did they say? Well, 44.4% said a very important contributor, and 44.4% said an important contributor, and 11 said neither nor. So the thought leadership matters to leadership teams. So the message of marketing people is, if you want to impress your leadership teams, focus on your thought leadership and don't fly blind. So on that happy note, I will pass back now to me. Nice to see you again. And I will invite in Illich, who is going to be joining me for the Q&A session.
Really, the key here was to be able to have a much more objective view of what is essentially quite subjective, as in how do you qualify what is a good piece of thought leadership.
There's a question about ranking the article on visuals. That's very much your space, I think, Illich. I'll put back your, if you recall, your detailed scoring criteria. So over to you to perhaps answer the question from Rob, and thank you for the question.
Yeah, but that's a great question, actually. And one thing that we needed to take into account is that not all articles have like illustrations, pictures. Some do, some don't. And we took the view that a picture can really have a great impact and be some sort of hook that people will remember and associate the quality of the content with the quality of the picture. So we did some sort of bonus malus type of scoring to reward high quality visual content.
At that point, we are on time. So thank you for joining me. And this is a slight variation, but I think it's true. Thought leadership intelligence allows you to take intelligent control of your thought leadership activities